Oh my God, y'all. We are approaching the end. The end of this whole shebang. You're going to move on with your life, forget everything about this course, and it's going to be kind of wonderful. A few things that we're going to talk about real quick. One, if you hear construction noises, that's the apartment above me. Can't do anything about it. Still need to make this content, so apologies in advance. Two, might also be some crazy neighbors, happening on, I think one of them is using meth pretty consistently. So if you hear screaming, that's probably what that is. It's not me. Three, possible kids. Don't really know. Apologize for that in advance. But, so we'll focus on our last little bit where we're looking at categories and we are going to test for independence, right? Or whether or not something really is and truly associated, right? So depending on the research question, right, we're focused on this association issue where we see, is there a relationship that's occurring or is there not, right? So something is independent, which I'm just going to list with the letter I here. It means it's like they have no effect on one another. And D for dependent is that there is they're influenced by one another. So in this case then, because we're focusing on categories, right, we'll use this as an example, right? So we'll do, in the last presidential election, at least at the time of this video is being made, right, we had people who voted for Donald Trump, which we'll put in as Trump. And we also had people who voted for Biden, right? So these are two categories, right, where people can play play out their responses, right? And so, if we were, political science, or maybe that we, were focused on, what the influence of policing was, right? Because, after the events after George Floyd, a lot of policing people came out, entered a lot of, public discussion. And, there was a lot of debate about, defunding the police and things like that, right? So maybe we had people, right? So we were interested in seeing, was defund the police, a substantive issue that affected the outcome of the election, right? Or influenced maybe, right? So we aren't necessarily trying to figure out the strength of that association. We're just trying to find out if there is one. So, so if we put defund plus, as in yes, defund, and then defund minus, right? So, in this example then, right, so what we are curious then is, how does this, square fill out? What kind of information can we draw from it, right? And, this is something I'm literally making. I haven't pre-solved this or anything, right? So let's say that we had, 175 people here who are in favor of defunding, voted for Trump. And, we'll say for Biden, right, we'll say 210, right? And so the next part, if we defund minus, so against defunding, we'll say maybe this was 330. And for Joe Biden, so people who are against defunding, we'll say 100 people, right? And again, this is just a complete toy example, not based off of real information, right? So if we finished, filling out the table, right, this is basically what we're going to try to do, right, is to see whether or not defunding the police, attitudes towards that, is associated with who someone voted for in the last election, right? So we'll use this as kind of like a toy example, and we'll pick it up from there. So from that point on, I'll see you guys in the next video.